Slime, who in the chat? Who in the chat? Oh, Slime. Slime, Jerry Bay. Just now looking at the chat.
Long Blaze Bay.
So, divine warning by the prophet for the nations. The citizens of all free national governments, according to their free national name, national constitution, are of one family bearing one free national name. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to names and principles that delude to slavery. I, the prophet, was prepared by the great God Allah to warn my people to repent from their sinful ways and to go back to that state of mind of their forefathers' divine and national principles, that they will be law abiders and receive their divine rights as citizens according to the free national constitution that was prepared for all free national beings. They are to claim their own free national name and religion. There's but one issue for them to be recognized by the government of the earth, and it comes only through the connection of the Moorish divine and national movement, which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world. And through it, they and their children can receive their divine rights unmolested, unmolested by other citizens, that they can cast a free national ballot at the polls under a free national constitution of the state's government and not under a granted privilege as has been the existing condition for many generations. You who doubt whether I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, go to those who know law in the city hall and among the officials in your government and ask them under an intelligent tone, and they will be glad to render you a favorable reply, for they are glad to see me bring you out of darkness into light. Money doesn't make the man. It is free national standards and power that make a man and a nation. The wealth of all national governments, gold and silver, and commerce belong to the citizens alone. And without your national citizenship by name and principles, you have no true wealth. And I am hereby calling on all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. Help me to save my people who have fallen from the constitutional laws of government. I am depending on your support to get them back to the constitutional fold again, that they will learn to love instead of hate, and will live according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, supporting our free national constitution of the United States of America. I love my people, and I desire their unity and mine back to their own national and divine standard, because day by day they have been violating the national and constitutional laws of their government by clinging or claiming names and principles that are unconstitutional. If Italians, Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians are forced to proclaim their free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, it is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. And all other governments, when a man is born and raised there and asks for his national descent name, and if he fails to give it, he is misused, imprisoned, or exiled. Any group of people that fail to answer up to the constitutional standards of law by name and principles, because to be a citizen of any government, you must proclaim your national descent name, because they place their trust upon issues and names formed by their forefathers. The word Negro deludes in Latin to the word nigger, the same as the word color deludes to anything that is painted and dyed, varnished. And every nation must bear a national descent name of their forefathers, because honoring thy fathers and thy mothers, your days will be lengthened upon the earth. These names have never been recognized by any true American citizen of this day. Through your free national name, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by said national government in which they live. The 14th and 15th Amendment brought the North and South in unit, placing the Southerners, who were at that time without power, with constitutional body of power. And at that time, 1865, the free national constitutional law that was enforced in 1774 declared all men equal and free. And if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendment for the salvation of our people. So there isn't but one supreme issue for my people to use to redeem that which was lost, and that is through the above statements. Then the lion and the lamb can lie down together in yonder hills, and neither will be harmed, because love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice will be reigning in this land. In those days, the United States will be one of the greatest civilized and prosperous governments of the world. But if the above principles are not carried out by my citizens and my people in this government, the worst is yet to come. Because the great God Allah of the universe is not pleased with the works that are being performed in North America by my people, and this great sin must be removed from the land to save it from enormous earthquakes, diseases, etc. And I, the prophet, do hereby believe that this administration of the government, being more wisely prepared by more genius citizens that believe in their free national constitution and laws, and through, let me let's throw me off. I, the prophet, truly believe that my people will find the true and divine way of their forefathers and learn to stop serving cardinal customs and merely ideas of men that have never done them any good, but have always harmed them. So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud with a divine plea to all true American citizens to help me to remove this great sin which has been committed and is being practiced by my people in the United States of America, because they know it is not the true and divine way. Without understanding, they have fallen from the true light into utter darkness of sin. And there is not a nation on earth today that will recognize them socially, religiously, politically, or economically, etc., in their present condition of their endeavorment in which they themselves try to force upon a civilized world. They will not refrain from their sinful ways of action, and their deeds have brought Jim Crowism, segregation, and everything that brings harm to human beings on earth. They fought the Southerner for all these great misuses. But I have traveled in the South and examined conditions there, and it is the works of my people continuously practicing the things which bring dishonor, disgrace, and disrespect to any nation that lives the life. And I am hereby calling on all true American citizens for moral support and finance to help me in my great missionary work to bring my people out of darkness into marvelous light. From the Prophet, Islam. Brother Gamble Bay, Islam, how you doing over there? Prophet Drew Ali speaks to the nations. If you have race pride and love your race, join the Moorish Science Temple of America and become a part of this divine movement. Then you will have power to redeem your race, because you will know who you are and who your forefathers were. Because where there is unity, there is strength. Together we stand, divided we fall. Come, good people, because I, the prophet, sent to redeem this nation from mental slavery, which you have now, need every one of you who think that your condition can be better. This is a field open to strong men and women to uplift the nation and take your place in the affairs of men. If the Europeans and other nations are helping me, why not you? It is your problem. The Negro problem is being solved only as it can, and that is by the Moorish National Divine Movement. If you have a nation, you must have a free national name in order to be recognized by this nation as an American citizen. This is what was meant when it said, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things will be added upon to you," by the prophet. Islam.
Islam, everybody.
Islam, Brother Rashad El, Brother Sharif Gamble Bay, Islam.
Islam.
So this is a book. I'm gonna show y'all the front cover. Not sure how much cosmology this particular group is aware of, but this book is called Introduction to Esoteric Astrology. And I'll send everybody the PDF version of this book, because I'm gonna start at page 23, but there is an introduction and a preface that's will get you grounded. Whoever is interested, just let me know, hit me up, and I'll send it to you all. But starting from page 23 of Esoteric Astrology, almost all scriptures state that there are certain fundamental truths of life. If we fail to recognize them, our progress on the cult path would be retarded. On this path, which astrology is supposed to enlighten, the individual must realize the oneness of divine intelligence guiding the destiny of the universe. We may call this supreme being, or we may call this the supreme being, or we may give it any other name. But whatever the name, its existence is posited or positioned in all scriptures, and as such, they are all theistic. If astrology has to be in any consonance with spiritual teachings, it also must be theistic. If all the planets and stars are considered as supreme beings, it will lead to a doctrine of pantheism, which may again be subjected to further disputations. Therefore, astrology, to be in agreement with the scriptures, must lead the student to monotheism. And once again, when my mind's on astrology, I go back to the lessons with Noble Joe Ali with, man, know thyself. He never mentioned astrology in the Quran or nothing like that, but he did, though. He actually did. Even though he didn't, he did. Because in order to know yourself, you must come into the knowledge of what planets are within you or what make up your composition, right? So secondly, the divine heritage of human beings is also insisted upon in astrology. Life does not originate merely from a combination of sperm and ovum, but a third force, which is the divine spark. Ensouling the individual has to be there. This explains why only select sperm and ovum combine to give birth to the individual, but not all. Right? That special sperm made it in, right? That was a divine act. The mighty intelligence guides the course of his life. The birth star of the individual shows all these. Thirdly, the individual is guided by his own karma. So thirdly, the individual is guided by his own karma. Whatever he has done in his past will come back to him during the course of his future incarnations. Reincarnation, in fact, is the other side of karma. Karma and reincarnation taken together control and guide the individual to their future destiny. That is why the course of future life is so much predetermined. Fourthly, there is an occult hierarchy cooperating with the divine intelligence in order to enable the individuals to work out their own future course. This is a subject which must be explored in great detail. On an understanding of the nature and functions of the occult hierarchy, much of the mysterious relationship between the individuals and the stars could be explained. Lastly, the individual is his own lawgiver. Lastly, the individual is his own lawgiver. So my mind goes to the I self law master when I'm reading this. Because to be your own lawgiver, what comes to your mind when we say you're your own lawgiver? What in physically here or on the Zoom?
You set your own limitations.
Set your own limitations. Yes. Any other thoughts on you are your own lawgiver?
Islam, I'll say Allah. Allah is Allah, arm, leg, arm, head, which is God body, us being God in the body. I Allah master. So yes, Islam.
Islam. Anybody else got any thoughts on?
Yeah. Like where the spirit, not the body, so we saw the body. The law.
Well, what to do? You control your body.
You control the body.
You control the vessel.
Yeah, your you're setting the stage or you're like, controlling it by, telling it, you know, the laws of the universe to the physical world.
Mastering your higher and lower, higher and lower self, and mastering that helps you can balance the discipline of your mind, focus on what you want to do and what you don't want to do. So when you're in an environment to be able to control that, you master, you be able to draw within yourself and say, I am that God to control my thoughts and my body.
Got some thoughts?
Islam. Oh,
Yes, Jerry Bay?
yeah. I think cut it short, it's like you able to be the destroyer or the saver. That's what it is, you know.
God, God operator, destroyer.
Because I remember even seeing that in the so-called Bible. You know what I mean? When I was it's in James. I think James chapter 4, verse 12. If you look that up, it explained that what that means. Because it said the same thing in there. Yeah.
Yeah, Islam.
Yeah, and Steve Freeman also, he goes into
Some of you want to add? You good? Same thing.
What is it? What is the name?
Like, yeah, when you hear the individual is his own lawgiver, like what comes to your mind?
Equal for all, but they got laws. Allah laws. Created.
divine law.
Fine law.
Divine.
All right.
You can see poetically how lawgiver can mean like action. So individual's action is fact. So everything you're doing is documented. You know, whether it's lawful or not, yeah, it's still fact. Because I can also hear this like action. So each individual has a soul. And as they use their soul, we define what it does in the collective.
Okay. And we heard a couple good perspectives. All right. So once again, lastly, the individual is his own lawgiver. That is to say, he has perfect freedom in guiding the course of his future life. Right. So based on our actions, we choose what door we want to go through. The divine intelligence, the adept brotherhood, and the members of the occult hierarchy only help the individual and adjust the results of karma once they have been generated. Ultimately, man is a free entity with great potential for attaining divinity. So we all have the potential to obtain a divine space, and it's a choice that we all have, right? This approach puts a serious limitation on predictive sciences, but this has to be understood clearly. These basic postulates of every true religious philosophy must be examined in astrology if it has to enjoy the high status it has been enjoying for ages. Astrology is not based on accidents. It is capable of satisfying the most difficult physiological students. Dr. Rahman has been right in stating that astrology has not been a lucky hit. Had it been so, it would not have survived so long and in so many countries. Obviously, astrology is based on certain profound esoteric principles of life to the mundane materialistic world that remain obscure. Brother Imani, Islam. All right. Obviously, astrology is undoubtedly rooted in fundamental truths of life, a discovery of which may be extremely rewarding to the student. So even the whole student, when they say the student, So we're pretty much a student of ourselves, right? So if man know thyself, to know means knowledge. And when you're intaking knowledge for the first time, you're considered an initiate, right? Initiate. So that means we're students of even learning ourselves, right? We're pupils.
And to complement that a bit more is like higher and lower self, and this is our shadow world. So as we like have individual perspectives, we get lost and finding ourselves to rise up to our higher selves, to reunite.
Right. So let me postulate an hypothesis at this stage of our examination, assuming that I do not believe the planets and the stars to be the causative factors, though they may reveal the minutest details of the destiny, could it not be possible that the conjunction of the planets suggesting the specific course of life of the individual taking birth at a particular time, and the exact time of his or her birth, both are phenomena of the commitment variations, both guided by a third causative factor? It may not be that the individual was born under a particular star, therefore he has a particular course of life, rather than because the individual has to lead a particular course of life, which is helped or revealed by the conjuncture stars that he is born at the time. So with that little paragraph right there, yes, we have all specific star alignments in here, which will give us a sense of why we impulsively act the way we act, but it's not the end game, because we all have that intelligence to circumvent that. The cards aren't just dealt. We just want to know ourselves so we can know how to make adjustments to do better, or whatever the case may be, right? But it's not just over because you were dealt those sun, moon, and ascendant and all the other stuff. But you have the still choices you can make. In this approach, we postulate a mighty intelligence keeping a record of all our deeds and misdeeds and balancing the consequences of every action and arranging the events in such a way that during the course of several lives, we come to the realization of our birth star or our destiny, the archetype, which we have to become ultimately. This can happen only if these divine beings have perfect knowledge of the cosmic forces flowing through the different planets under particular conjuncture, and of the required training the human soul has to undergo in any specific life. The lords of karma might be postulated to be such divine beings. Having decided in their great intelligence the best circumstances for our growth in any specific life, they wait for the suitable opportunity so that in the interest of the economy of natural forces, they let the soul go to the world when the planetary flow of energy for that specific course of life is the most, or specific life. They wait for the suitable opportunity so that in the nearest of the economy of natural forces, they let the soul go to the world when the planetary flow of energy for that specific course of life is the most helpful. In this scheme, though, the astrologers might continue to predict the future of the individuals based on planetary influences, yet they cannot casually prove the planets to be the causes. So once again, we have impulses based on how our chemical makeup, but we're still the God, or we are controlling the vessel. Because the vessel was still the combination of your stars. Whenever you get your chart done, that's still your vessel. So you just want to know what your vessel's impulses, your urges, so you can know as the divine being to control it or to assess it to see if you need to make adjustments based on what's going on in your life at the time.
Affected by the directory.
Right. Right.
It's a green book.
Yeah.
Right. Green book.
Yeah.
Salute. So time of the birth and the planetary locations may be examples of the commitment variations because the lords of karma have thought in their wisdom that those planetary forces could sweep the individual in the direction they wanted him to go. It has often been stated that the free will of the individual goes contrary to the principles of astrology. So this sentence right here basically embodies what we're saying. So we got the will, and then we got your astrological makeup. Two separate things, right? But this is based on a misunderstanding of the true relationship. The individual whom lords of karma sends to the world is a mysterious being himself. He has the potentiality of being as divine as the divinity himself. This can happen only when the individual understands his real nature. This sounds like Quran lessons, right? Know your lower self, right? So you got to understand our nature. The first lesson he has to learn in this context is about the composite nature of his being. He is spirit clothed in matter. Spirit clothed in matter, right? And then we take the Quran lessons, our grossest form is not vibrating as fast, right? As our ethereal self. So the reason we can see each other in our gross form because we're not vibrating as fast. That's things we can't see. The first lesson he has to learn in this context is about the composite nature of his being. He is spirit clothed in matter. Matter itself is of various grades of densities. With the knowledge of his subtler garments, the individual spirit is liberated. The influence of karmic forces, which is reflected through the various constraints imposed on him by the planetary influences, is actually aimed at making him realize his real nature as well as his constraints, right? So we all got constraints. What will be constraints? Constraints will be things we need to work on. Maybe being more of a people person, maybe being more goal orientated, whatever. Everybody got their own thing that they'll ask themselves and be honest, like, what do I need to work on? He's calling them a constraint in this book. You got something?
Yeah, poetic thought to hear this constraint. I think about like snowflakes. Like when snowflakes fall, you know, they form these different designs. It's built on sediment in the water that falls down to make it formulate these grandiose designs that are very individual, whatever. And as we are following the angles of light, we're like snowflakes in everywhere. And that we all have different sediments or different minerals from birth or the salts. And amongst these things, we have different formations of it. As we all fall, some format will rise as we look at it.
Yeah. Right.
The reason they say snowflakes because when they test the water, they turn into different like snowflakes. That's different like, and each when you like speak into the water, you look at them in the microscope, it's like little snowflakes. And every word is different.
Yeah.
So they form like different, and not every one snowflake is.
Sound.
Yes, like the vibration of the sound of the, you know, but even when they were writing on it, it was like, you know, but they would put music to it, like the sound, and then everything would like form, the water would form like different. So it's very interesting.
All right. So realize his real nature as well as the constraints imposed on him due to his own ignorance. So the constraints come from the ignorance of self, ignorance of self, right? So that's why man must, what
Know
noble do I
thyself.
self? Man know thyself.
Study thyself.
So you can know your constraints. Influence of the planets, or as a matter of fact, of that of the lords of karma, work. So we're the lords of karma. That's us. Why are we the lords of karma? Because we can choose what door we want to go through, which ultimately means we're choosing our karmic deck based on our actions, right? And you're not locked in. You have the ability to change your ways. It's not like you're just done, right? But nonetheless, you're still the lord of karma, however it comes.
If you learn, you can choose to go on the other door.
You're right. Right.
You know, because you just know, so you just didn't know.
I heard a perversion, more twisted way of canceling karmic debt. I remember hearing some Jewish folks describe how they, Hasidic Jews, have a process of like basically like how people go to the church and confess to the Catholic person to like forgive their sins and throw a Hail Mary. Jewish people have a thing where they'll put their sins on a chicken. You know, you heard this before? They have a ceremony where like they all go into like a church house temple thing, and the last person then cast the sins on the chicken. So of the chicken, they're all absolved of their issues, and they go back doing their own dirt in a twisted way to keep passing the sins on the chicken. And some twisted people get the chicken out in the hood. So that's a weird. No, it's a story I've heard from people in the Jews. So yeah. They make comedy about it, tell your story.
So he would be a prisoner of his past karmic forces as long as he is ignorant of his spiritual heritage. Spiritual heritage. So that my mind goes to even like my dad or whatever, knowing his cosmological makeup, knowing yours, knowing great grandmother, grandma, and that'll give you a sense of who you are. That's why I always tell people, like when I was telling you, I was talking with my uncles, you know, talking about my dad when he was like my age or a teenager. There was data I just didn't know about. So after he transitioned, I'm like, that's me. Like, this is my impulsive.
That just takes me back to even like how they're telling us that we were slaves, we weren't like us.
Right.
You know, just even talking about our ancestors, because a lot of us, you know, going down the line, our ancestors was, you know, they were emperors, you're direct. That's because they're emperor, you don't even know, because we
Yeah.
gotta, you know, develop his other confusion.
Yeah.
We were slaves, so
Mhm.
back into that broader perspective of
Spiritual heritage.
Yeah,
spiritual heritage.
and with that, it seems like they canceled their karmic debt with so many layers of doublespeak, saying we were slaves, which is technically true if we're under the government system as a corporate citizen. So we are slaves. So like we're enslaved were our tense of time. So amongst that, it's like they're saying the 2, 3, 4, 5 things at once.
Right.
Like it's so many layers of speech, and as I started realizing how trickery English is versus like other languages that have a more codified separation philosophy.
Right.
And we're taught in this world of like twisted words. And I'm trying to think who designed this. Like I had some 5D chess that come with like 5 words that one word that means 5 different things. All some Chinese stuff, like it's tone.
Right.
And I'm starting to see the depth of that design.
Yeah.
They still make slang after slang.
I believe that's what the Tower of
Babel.
Babel represents symbolically in the Bible.
Yeah.
Is that what you're just saying?
Yeah.
That confusion. So we won't get back to the origin, which the origin always promotes humanitarian acts. They don't want, certain powers that be don't want that. So,
The etymology.
right, yeah, the etymology. help you sift through all, even English etymology, it still help you with English words, because it's gonna take you to the root of what that English word meant, and now you know what the real word means. It's just people don't know how to look at a dictionary. Don't know how to break it down.
Like the different like Black's laws, what you have, the word has been flipped, flop, flip, twist, reverse.
Right.
So you can see everything in one word.
Mhm.
Depending how far back you're gonna go, you know, and you just, and the thing is timeline, you know, just picking that this date versus that date
Right,
to apply for this current date.
right. Yeah. That's why we say denotative versus connotative, because you know, you want to get back to the origin,
And the right definition.
you know. Spiritual heritage, right? So once he has generated an action, it must recoil on him, putting limitations on his circumstances. As all actions are through matter, and matter leads to ignorance, so all limitations caused by ignorance are expressed through conditions of life under which the individual has to act. And that's basically, once we're challenged, we'll get better. Like if everything's just going smooth, we're not gonna learn no lessons. We must go through some type of turbulence to learn a lesson to even ascend better to a higher level, right? If everything easy, we're gonna be stagnant. There's nothing nothing to learn, nothing to work on, right?
A poetic summary of that is that you have to go against the grain to get smooth.
Right. Yeah. So through this understanding, he would develop discrimination and desirelessness. Desireless. So it's not really about desires. You kind of graduate past your desire, right? Thus, he would develop detachment. Freedom of spirit or freedom of the individual lies in his freedom to react to the circumstances under which he is placed. Right? So we adapt to whatever the circumstances are. He cannot change the set of circumstances in which he is born, but he can acquire wisdom and react to these events wisely. True understanding of the astrological forces should enable the individual to acquire his attitude to life and to react wisely so that spirit in him is gradually released and it becomes prominent and matter subdued. So you're subduing the more wiser you get, you're subduing the flesh even that much more. You're keeping it in check. This would make him freer. Right?
It's the irony of that statement.
The irony, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're in your flesh, and the more of your higher spirit falls into you, the more anchored you are. But the more anchored you are means the more free you can be.
Right. Exactly. And yeah, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
Man.
That's man still.
Mhm. Yeah. Approaching in this way, he would accept that the world is evolving under the benevolent influence of divine beings. The basis of astrology in this way appears to be theistic. The supreme intelligence takes care of every individual and puts him under those circumstances which are best suited for his growth. This should give to the individual faith and confidence in his life. He should therefore have serenity or peace amidst trials. So have peace even amongst the trials and tribulations of the worldly struggles. But astrology is not fatalistic, it is spiritualistic in the sense that it believes in the spiritual nature of the man. When the individual releases that he is not in his body, he is not his emotions and thoughts. He does not even belong to the family and the society in which he is born, but that he is an independent spark for which all these are given in order to enable him to evolve his archetype. He would develop a radically different view on life. He would then become a liberated soul. Astrology is a stepping stone to this realization. When this view is incalculated in the individual, he would find that there is no center and there is no sin. Each soul is learning his lesson, which he can probably learn only in those given circumstances, the circumstances of meeting turbulence. In this way, astrology would reveal to him the higher mysteries of nature. So we got mysteries of nature. And if there's higher mysteries of nature, that must mean there's lower mysteries of nature. Right?
So there's a spectrum of mysteries in nature.
Spectrum, the spectrum, right? Based on where we're at. Yeah.
Oh, but the E for the vote, like the letter up.
Yeah. So the mystery, well, I guess, right.
Inside it or there. It's like,
Right.
this story.
It's mystery.
Mysteries, surprise stories. So, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Please.
it's like the
Yeah.
myth, you know, everything is the truth about our culture, our history. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. It's the mysteries of nature. Then the individual will know that astrological predictions come true because the soul of the individual is guided by higher beings who judgment never err. That sounds like we're reading the Circle 7 Quran. Right? Planets do not cause events. They in fact function like the mirrors, reflecting the divine judgment. These beings take help of the forces flowing through these planets in order to enable the individual to learn his valuable lessons in this life. In concluding, we would again reiterate that here we have attempted merely to indicate a fragment of the esoteric aspect of astrology in general. The true nature of different planets and the mechanisms through which they influence the terrestrial beings are much more fascinating and mysterious than what we have done here. So this is just to get everybody prepared for what we'll be going into the next couple of weeks when we jump in this book. We'll jump off into chapter 2 next time, which will be titled Occult Nature of Astrology. As you know what, let me open the floor to see any thoughts, how people feeling about that in the Zoom or physically. We'd love to hear some people's thoughts on what invoked mentally hearing this reading. Brother Imani, what's your thoughts on this, man?
Family.
Islam.
I'm really just saying it just like Pierre was saying with the lower thing, man. Like it's a matter of to be truly free, you gotta be free of the flesh. You know, and like that's the part that I'm taking in. It's like, all right, like, you know, I gotta move in a higher self as much as possible in order to really, really understand that spiritual heritage.
Islam. Brother Sharif Gamble Bay, you got some thoughts?
Yeah, it just really showed me like everything got like a higher and a lower.
Right. Makes you want to know yourself that much more, huh? To see what you made of, right?
Yeah.
Islam, what I find fascinating in this science is that, and in this revelation of using astrology and relating it to, you know, the spark of life that's coming through the stars, coming through the whole solar system, in that concept, is that it just makes you conscious to really understand that we are just a spark. And that spark is coming through all of the different solar plexus, and it's part of that vibration that's transforming us to who we are. So we have to understand that, and once we understand that whole big picture, then we can master all these things, how we master ourselves. But that spark is the intelligence that's moving us.
That's crazy. You said it like that because it was a song on the Canaan Land Meridians album, and I had said in a bar, just like what you said. I said, if I'm not there, then it's dark. And then I said, what I'm saying is I'm the light, started from the spark. Big bang. Right? Big bang. Right. Yeah. But that spark is the intelligence.
Understanding all of this.
Yeah.
You gotta start with that spark. That's what we think.
And that's called Ptah in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Ptah, yeah.
I've heard another version of that spark inverted is that darkness precedes light.
Right.
So it came from darkness.
Yes.
And light is like attempting to put things in language to define it. Like light's just like it's a warping of darkness is light.
Yeah.
But it's still secondary to the darkness. So like, it's like defining the Tao. Like it's kind of hard to put into words, but finally this a neat twist to give respect to the dark, become you're born out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Even in our prayer, by night and by day.
By night and by day.
And then even though, or if you want to say the moon is the dark night, and then she's the mother, and then it's the day.
Right.
So we start with the night first, the mother first, and then and the day. So you start with the night.
And back to the Egyptian Book of the Dead, I think that's part of the title too, from Coming Out of the Darkness and one of them, what's it called?
Yeah, out of the dark.
Something like that. And then there's a documentary, that's how I got woke up. The documentary called Out of the Darkness into the Light, the Taj.
But if we came from the
That's how I came
mother,
across the impact.
we came from the mother.
Right.
So,
Right.
darkness.
Brandon Bay, what's your thoughts on this, man? Brother Brandon Bay.
It's just some good new information. Something for me to ponder on personally and look into. Good information.
Insightful. Insightful. You see the correlation with the Quran and in this book.
Yes, I do.
Islam. How you
Islam.
doing, man? I see you.
Man, I'm all right, man. Just trying to rest up, man. Get back right, get well. That's all.
Islam. Empress Shuja. What's your thoughts on what you heard today? How'd you resonate with it?
What I got from it is how I'm gonna put it, basically I don't know how I want to put it, like you just get back what you put out, so if you act more positive, you get back positive. And then as I was gonna say earlier when I listened to you talk about I was gonna say we are the master of our own destiny. So, far as being like lawmakers.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about earlier. But I couldn't get into the thing because I was in here doing some things. But yeah, that's what I got out of that earlier. And some stuff a little while ago I need to, put into my own self because I'm still learning the Quran. I just got it the other day. So yeah, I'm just reading.
Islam. Empress Jalissa, what's your thoughts?
Pretty much I'm in agreement with the I self-line master. You know, I am in control of what is it? What was it? What did it say?
You mean like the law? Being a law?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Um, I was pretty much in agreement with that. Pretty much we're in control of emotions, how we deal with things, how we our thoughts and all of that. So I'm still in the process of learning myself and how I handle certain situations and things like that. But um that resonated with me the most.
Mhm.
Islam.
Yeah, me too.
Islam. Brother Rashad L, what's your thoughts? Let me Jerry Bay, brother Jerry Bay, Islam. What's your thoughts?
Islam, no,
What your thoughts on this piece, man?
man. Like I, you know, the man is mine, man. You know what I mean? And then I feel that on a side note, you know, studying the planets and things like that will take a lot of like pressure off yourself, you know, because sometimes, you know, bad thoughts come in and bad urges and habits. And when you recognize what's going on out there, which is going on inside you, right? You'll get more understanding what's going on and why are you feeling this way and thinking this way, you know. But I feel that it'll also help people with, you know, people looking for something because they said something or because they done something. Is really based on your intentions, why you did it and why you said it. If you focus on love and love is your intentions, now you're connecting to something that's, you know, you can't even really explain, the higher power, the most high. So you start knowing things that you didn't know you knew, you know what I mean? And like great things start happening around you where you can even, you know, you can never even imagine. But everybody knows what happens when the man intentions are not right. You know, everybody know, you know, even in school, when you fail, you get an F. But just because you got an A, right, that don't mean you pass. Because you still have to pass you got to pass the whole grade, not just the test. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So people be passing tests a lot, but they fail in the long run, you know, because it's all about consistency, being persistent, and then your intentions. Once you got that lined up, I mean, you can tap into the divine knowledge. I mean, that is Allah, love. So when your intentions is love, now you got infinite amount of information that you can tap into. Like, you know, and it's not through, it's coming through you, but from somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Right.
Islam.
Islam.
Just because you win the battle don't mean you win the war.
Right, right.
Like, you know.
Yeah. Brother Salim, got any thoughts on this?
Islam noble.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I want to say after studying astrological cosmology books, it's incredible. I just want to say it's incredible to hear a lot of the things reiterated to the extent where higher self, lower self, the lower self is the signs that we are. Like I'm an Aquarius. There's certain things that people can't help impulsively, but to feel like, you know, that's their permanent energy, and they like, you know, they can't help but to indulge into being I'm this sign, and then people take pride in being what it is to be good and bad about that sign. So with that being said, we can also make the exact decision, exact opposite of what we would naturally do. So it's like incredible that we can butterfly effect life, and being that I'm this, I can have discipline myself with learning stuff. I can take in this indoctrination, I can take in these sciences or things, and now whoever I probably would have been, now I can be like Neo in the Matrix. So now I'm Neo in the Matrix. Now I can see everything clear. I can see my higher self, my lower self, and I can see everybody else's higher self and lower self. So now I can be telling people how they can, okay, well, this is me. No, that's not you. That's who you, that's what the impulse, the planetary impulses, like so. So it's really incredible that when people really think about it, you they say you want to change the world, you change yourself. You elevate yourself, our self-law master, you elevate yourself as much as possible. And then you spread that energy of elevation. And now all y'all are not just your sign, you're not just you're an embodiment of everybody that you done came around. Like, so now I can embody the Virgo, the Libra, I can embody all these other energies. Like they say, like you got the pizza, the pie. You're not just a slice of the pie, you're the center point. You embody all of it. So I think this is very important, to take in. I was just talking to my family member about this, like the little young guy, like you don't have to be who you think you feel you be. You know what I'm saying? You can really butterfly effect that thing, taking these other outside lessons, and now you're not just you. Now you higher yourself is the mother of virtues. So now you arm, leg on head. You the embodiment of what it is to be good for everybody, what it is to be bad for everybody. They say you got the knowledge of good and evil. So yeah, Islam. I just want to add that everything that was said is God sent, because in order to really make an impact and affect the world like we're supposed to, we got to really be able to neo it for ourselves and then tell each other, like, I can see everything about me, you. There's no reason to be fake, no reason to be messed up about nothing. Everything is very transparent. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is supreme high knowledge, because understanding self is to understand all matter. Like it was talking about everything in that you was read, that was read, that you read. It enhances the balance of everything. Like you don't have to be who you thought you was. You can make decisions, and now you're a whole nother different being because you elevated. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Islam.
Wow. Yeah, and then we can learn from everybody, because I'm only who I am. I'm not who somebody else is. Somebody else outside of me might have a perspective that'll take what I do know to another level. Whether it be a demeanor, the way somebody say something, information in general. You know what I mean? So, that's kind of what it's about, man. And that's the imperative as far as the collective. When they say collective consciousness, you're talking about, a body politic on the physical realm, collective consciousness on the spiritual realm.
Like the zodiac,
Mhm.
like we're all looking at the same picture, but from different perspectives from everybody, like Capricorn, that's where it is, like, everybody has a different view. Like they say, like, somebody, if something happens, an accident or something, everybody can see certain part of the accident. Like some people might see, the backside, that way they hit the child, and like, I can see the child, it's like, certain perspectives that you can see what happened, and everybody can come together and actually like make the whole.
Yeah.
What happened.
And I think the book said the planets are reflections of vantage points.
Yeah.
So that's essentially saying what we're saying. The Pisces gonna see the world in one way. Mirror.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, but we're all looking at this one big gigantic picture.
It's like a scatter chart of traits.
Mhm. Yeah.
You can't be all powerful and never get out of it.
Yeah.
We all need each other.
And that's where that's kind of where we're supposed to assist each other. And when we're planning stuff, whatever, we got a whole body to kind of give input so we can make the best decision. Make sure it's the best sound decision, you know what I mean?
We move in concert,
Mhm.
and all together.
Yeah.
I wanted to expound on one other thing with the light. And I also read this in this conversation about stars and what they were, and they actually broke down stars are actually made of They have magnetism, which we have naturally. We have the light naturally, the light of the star, and it's liquid and it's a solid. We are all that, and then it comes from an ether.
We got gases.
The gas.
We got gases in
And we
there.
have gases, so we are a star.
Right, right.
Our physical body is that. So when we come into that,
Yeah, suit.
we're in a
Colors
suit.
up in a suit.
In a suit.
That's it. The human body is a suit that.
Yeah.
Essentially, that spirit is the brightest lights in the firmament that we see. And it's like, since we asked the universe to be here at a specific time, it allowed us to enter through that portal and we came through. So we come through those waters, as well as putting ourselves into the moment and essentially manifesting as her thought and then coming in. And so we come in, that's what I'm touch it. The Quran means knowledge, order, rhythm, astrology, nature. So all those, the knowledge of knowing the self, the order, having everything in order, the rhythm being in arithmetic with how the numbers, astrology, everything with astrology, as we said earlier, how it's all connected. The astrology, all the same time with the zodiac, within our body, from our toes to our hands, to our face structure, 12 and 12, whole body up and down, like it was like one of them, like you see how many times it was like to make me perfect. You know what I'm saying? And then as you continue to do that, you just replicate yourself each time. Well, you decrease here, go back, come back, go back, come back, go back. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, we see the the similarities, right?
Yeah.
Like the Earth, the Earth is how much percentage water?
7%, 78% water, 75%.
It's like the body, right? So,
Above, so below.
you know, I love the 12 Hours of Man. That's an incredible book for anybody that want to get the concept of, like, you know, the metaphysical concepts of the Bible, 12 tribes of Israel, how it relates to the 12 glands of the body, right? 12 cranial nerves, things of that nature. It just helps you have a whole different perspective on things in general too. But I'm gonna do one more round for any thoughts and things like that. We kind of started late. So oh yeah, they out there? Stone in them? Okay. Oh, okay. But yeah, anybody got anything else they want to add before we close out here? If not, just keep in mind, whoever has nationality paperwork, please get that scanned. You can go to Staples and scan them to my email so I can upload them to the website. Whoever needs nationality card, let me know. Whoever's trying to register their conveyance with the temple, let me know. And whoever got any questions on anything, just in general, period, just let me know right now or later. If nobody has any thoughts, we can close out in prayer.
I have a question.
Okay, smile.
For being conveyance, what does that actually mean? What do you mean by that?
Oh, it's your car. Your car. Conveyance, I could have said the word car, but conveyance, that's essentially what I mean. You can register your car with the temple, where it'll be essentially saying Khalifa Society, Moroccan Consulate, Trust, and then when they run the VIN number, that's what's gonna pop up. And since it's saying that lingo, once you show your nationality card, it's gonna tell a whole story. And that's where you got the book. Oh, matter of fact, you know what? You're supposed to go over your dissertation today. Huh? Let's everybody else supposed to do their part. Let's just the next day. So you're supposed to do yours today, right? So if you can do yours Wednesday, Sharif can do his Friday, and then Salim, you can do yours next Sunday. That sound good? We kind of got a late start today.
Uh-huh. And you say email you our scanned papers, our nationality papers, you say?
Yeah, a color copy.
Okay,
Just get it to
yeah,
my email. Yeah.
gotcha,
But what I was
gotcha.
what I was getting at is in the book, it talks about the Department of State Consular Notification and Access Manual. And in that manual, it's instructions for federal, state, and local law enforcement. So when they see nationality card, when they see the word consulate, they're gonna think non-US citizen.
Right.
You know. So
Even if I travel overseas, right?
traveling overseas is a little different, like I was saying. You're gonna, you know, either you're gonna contact the people you're going to and get documentation from their authorities that you're coming, and then they'll fax you some information with their seals of their body or their ambassador, and then you'll fly with that with your nationality card. If you're not coming like that, you're gonna use a regular passport.
Right, right. I saw that in a book too. What to do when you travel internationally.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do one more round.
Okay.
For any, or you got any more questions or answers? Just in general?
That's it. That's it. I just email you my stuff and yeah, we'll go from there.
Okay. Okay, it's fine.
It's fine.
Anybody else had anything they wanted to add? All right. So let's just close out in prayer. And then once we do that, we'll do the physical dues count after. I was gonna just, should I be? All right. Ooh.
Allah.
Allah,
Father
of the universe,
Father of love,
Father of love, truth,
peace,
peace,
freedom and justice.
freedom and justice.
Freedom and justice.
Protector.
Allah is my protector,
That's my protector.
My salvation.
my salvation,
My salvation.
and I am my day.
God of my day.
Prophet.
Through his holy prophet,
You Ali.
Lord Jew Ali.
Amen.
Islam.
Islam.
All right, Moors. Well, I'll see y'all on Wednesday. And peace and love to all.
Peace and love.
Islam, Morris.
Islam.
Love.
Peace and love.
Have a good Sunday.
Islam, everybody.
Islam.
Islam, everybody.
Wow. Islam. Hey.
I know.
You gotta put it up a little.
There you go.
There you go. Peace, Islam. Islam.
Islam.
Islam, more shit. Have a blessed one. Peace and love. I see you, Noble. Islam, safe travels, y'all.
Islam.
All right, everybody. Islam. See y'all Wednesday.